Hello and welcome here to more Talk FCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys, because coming up for you today, it's the big one. This right here is a very, very important video. We're going to be going over the upcoming presidential elections, which, let's not forget, that's coming. That is going to be with us in less than 1 week's time. We've got to be ready. And that's why today we're going to be going over all of the big quotes from the presidential debate that happened on Sunday, where Joan Laporta, Victor Font and Tony Freixer went head-to-head. And I am also going to be telling you who I want to be the new Barca president, and of course, why I feel that way. It's all coming up. Let's get to it. Come on. Because indeed, on Sunday, there was an official presidential debate with all three of the candidates, Laporta, Font and Freixer. They all sat down in a debate which lasted actually 2 hours long, and a range of different topics were discussed. But I want to bring you here some of the real key points and the finer details from that debate. And we start here as the candidates outlined their plans for the club. Laporta gave an upbeat message for the Barca fans. He said, ignore the horror messages the media spread. He said the club is in a difficult time. He said, I'm not going to deny that, but he said, we have the experience and we have the ability to get this club out of this negative situation. We will bring Barca back. Font said, we are very excited that the election is nearly here because we want to bring Barca back. We've worked for many years to find these solutions, and almost hitting out there at Laporta, he said, our solutions do not depend on the past. Freixer, meanwhile, said that we know that we're able to do whatever Barca needs because we did it between 2010 and 2015. He said, we're the only ones who clarify how we're going to do things. He said, we are very clear. And before we even go any further, I want to make this crystal clear. Tony Freixer, and I'm not really worried here about being impartial, he should not be the president. This is a guy here, he just said it there. We did it between 2010 and 2015. He is somebody who's worked under not only Bartomeu, but also Sandro Rosell. This man should not be president of the club. He shouldn't even be in the running, because just wait a minute and see what he had to say about Lionel Messi. Because, of course, that was a big question in the debate. What's the plan with Leo? Laporta said, the first thing that I will do is persuade Messi to stay at the club. He said, I will do everything that I can to convince him to stay. He said, I have Messi's confidence and we will present him with a new offer. Victor Font said that Messi's priority is not money. He said what he wants is for us to be able to offer him a sporting project that can convince him. And in that sense, I'm sure that our sports structure can convince him. And have a look at this. Tony Freixer didn't even really go into the subject. He said the continuity of Messi, it should be simple. If there are common wills on both sides. And you know why that is? You know why Freixer there doesn't even want to talk about Messi? Because he doesn't want him at the club. Now, it's fair enough if you feel as though, you know what, the time has come for Messi to move on, maybe to let Messi go there and explore a different challenge if he wants. But that's not what Freixer wants. He just doesn't want Messi. And I would even go as far to say he doesn't even respect Messi. Because just have a look here what he said last summer when Messi's future was up in the air. Because in a radio interview with Marca back in August, he said, I'm not concerned about Messi leaving. He said everything must come to an end. But what's significant is that he's done it in such an unfortunate way and without respecting the club. He said, as a Barcelona man, I'm surprised and disappointed. I'm disappointed by what Messi has done. The contract must be fulfilled, so what Messi has to do is come with a 700 million and leave. And honestly, how is this guy even in the running to be the president? To be talking about the club's greatest ever player in that way? And just notice there, he's happy to put all that blame on Messi, but did he say anything about Bartomeu? No, he didn't. That's not what we need. We do not need another Bartomeu at this club. We will not stand for that. Freixer must not come to power. And coming from somebody there who worked under Rosell and also Bartomeu, Freixer actually had the audacity there to say that Laporta's time at the club actually hurt Barca. And in terms of the finances, Barcelona suffered under Laporta's management. And Laporta, he wasn't having any of that. And this was the first moment there that Laporta sort of stood up and said, you know what, I'm not having this. He said, I'm so proud of everything that we left back in 2010. He said, back in 2010, I left a team with players like Valdez, Puyol, Piqué, Alves, Xavi, Busquets, Iniesta, Messi and Pedro. He said this is a legacy. And he turned to Freixer and he said, take away the bitterness and the resentment that you've carried inside of you for so long. He said, what you say simply isn't true. He said, don't insist on discrediting the legacy I left, which was the best Barca in history. drops mic. And of course, there was always going to be talk about signing somebody like Frexa's been going on now for weeks, how he's going to get investment from somewhere and sign the biggest players, basically throwing out names there to try and gather votes. He's simply living in some sort of fantasy land. Laporta said, though, I'm already communicating with the biggest agents in the world of football, but crucially he said, I won't discuss that now. He said, we don't want to destabilise the team. Right now, what we have to do is motivate our current players, the coaching staff too. He said, because at Barca, there's no transitional seasons. He said, I don't accept the term transitional season. Victor Font said, we always want to win everything. He said, we're fighting right now against clubs that have so much money and we need plans to move forward. And then there did start to be a little bit of jousting between Joan Laporta and this time Victor Font, because Laporta said our experience is important for the challenges the clubs face. So we're going to rely on all that experience, all that know-how to get us out of this difficult moment. He said to take those important decisions. He said the most important thing, it is to have a strong leader. And that is something there that I am absolutely 100% behind him on that. We do need a strong leader capable there of making the big calls, dragging us out of this situation, because we haven't had a leader at this club for so long. Font, though, again throwing in a bit of a dig, as he has been doing now over the past few weeks in terms of Laporta looking to the past. He said it's important for our partners to understand that 2021 is not like 2003. He said we don't want a mirror of the past, we want a window to the future. He said our credibility, he said it's solid. He said it's certain that we are going to persuade the key personnel to be included in our sporting project. He said we want to build a system, and that system, it'll be led by Xavi. He said Xavi must lead Barca. He said we've been working with Xavi for 5 years on the project. And this for me was one of the most significant moments of the debate, because this is when Laporta really did seem to shut Font down. He said, Victor, you talk about your structure, you talk about your plan. He said, but important members of that plan, like Jordi Cruyff, he said, and Xavi, he said they've already denied supporting you exclusively. He said all you talk about is Xavi, 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 Xavi. He said either you don't know the reality of Barca, or he said maybe you don't even know these people. Font replied, he said if Xavi goes to the media and says he doesn't support me, he said I'll withdraw from the elections immediately. But I do feel as though recently from Font, certainly over the past few weeks, it has been there a bit dependent on those names. He keeps throwing them out there, and obviously when you've got people coming out in the press, we saw it with Jordi Cruyff when he was included there in the sporting project of Victor Font. Suddenly then Cruyff was coming out and saying, you know what, that's not set in stone. I have a contract where I currently am, and that's not something right now that I am involved with. And even Jordi Cruyff came out and actually said, I believe my father, Johan of course, I believe that he would vote for Joan Laporta. And I think in particular, when I am coming onto my personal preference, and like I say, this is simply a point of view, it's my own opinion, I'm not saying that you have to follow that, you can make your own choices based on what you've seen, based on what you've read, but for me, one thing that I cannot forgive both Tony Frexa and also Victor Font for is the fact they both supported the elections being postponed and pushed back. I simply cannot accept that. We should have had these elections months ago. We have wasted time here, when right now the situation we're in, particularly financially, we couldn't afford that wasted time. We could have and should have had those elections, and anybody who supported them going back, for me, you go down in my estimations. Because I, for one, was really impressed by Font. Certainly in his early campaigning, when he was getting his project together, when the plan was coming together, he looked really solid. And I honestly don't think that he's a bad person. I don't think he's a bad person at all, but I'm just not sure that right now he is the man to lead Barca into this new era. I think he's been taking shots at Laporta in recent times. I think he's been getting a bit panicky. I think his words recently have done more damage than actual good for his campaign. And I think given the fact we've seen the likes of Jordi Cruyff, Xavi sort of distancing themselves a little bit from his project, right now we need somebody we can 100% trust. We cannot allow right now for any mistake whatsoever. This next move, it has to be the right one. And that's why for me, I have to back Laporta. I have to say, you know what, when it comes down to it right now, he's been there, he's done it, he gets the club, he's a Barca man, he understands the players, he can get in that dressing room and actually there make the big decisions. He's seen it all, he's done it all. And like I say, we need somebody to come in and change now, immediately. We can't afford there to have somebody come into the role and just sort of be a bit intimidated by it, a bit new for them, give them a bit of time to settle in and just make that transition. We need an immediate effect. We need things to be shaken up, because far too long, this club here has been on a downward spiral. We all know about that. Laporta is the man. Not just based there on what he's done in the past. We all know that he built an incredible Barca team, but it's not just about that. He is somebody who we can trust. He is somebody who has the club's best interests in his heart. And that's why, for me, Laporta should, and hopefully will, be the new Barcelona president. So please do leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Of course, there will be more coming up on these elections as they do draw ever closer. I'm very, very excited to start this new chapter, to give this club the new life that it needs. Let me know who your preference would be in the comments down below. Would it be Laporta? Would it be Fonts? But please don't tell me that you're going to go with Tony Frexer. I will see you soon, guys, of course. I really do appreciate your support and all of you coming back to watch the content. There's plenty more coming up. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.